Senate Democrats do return to the Hill today with Biden's Build Back Better spending proposal at the top of the agenda. Joining us right now, Washington insider Armstrong Williams. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving.
Yes, good morning, Jan.
Great to see you. So Democrats feeling some pressure from voters right now. Democratic Congressman Lloyd Doggett of Texas told the Hill, quote, "There are some challenges. I think we never messaged effectively the American Rescue Plan. I think we have to do it bit by bit. So given the size and scope of the bill, the messaging of it cannot be done in a day or a week. It'll have to be spread out and do it with people whose lives really will be affected by what we do." First, let's talk about the impact this bill is going to have long-term, Armstrong.
Jan, first they want to empower the IRS to spy on us and take money and money, little whatever you call it, in our bank accounts. You've got inflation rising out of the wazoo. You have millions of people who have not returned to work. You can see firsthand, Jan, you go to restaurants, you go to theme parks, anywhere you go, there's a long wait because people are just not returning to work. Employers are just begging for people to come back and take these jobs. And the Democrats have put themselves in a spot of their own doing. They're coming off this Pyrrhic victory of this infrastructure bill, and now they're trying to turn around and sell another $1 trillion plus bill. And unfortunately for Democrats, they have done a very no job at all in trying to explain the true contents of the bill. And instead, they just focus on the price tag and who's going to pay for it. And to the American people, when they see a large price tag, they think it is coming out of their pockets. And it is coming out of their pockets, Jan. The American people, as much as you want to talk about you need to pass more bills, and the American people say, I'm still struggling. Like you just mentioned, the gas prices soaring. Not just gas prices soaring, Jan, food prices soaring. Everything is soaring.
Yeah. Heating costs. Some states right now are expecting a 50% increase this winter in heating costs. That's going to hit lower income Americans the most. It's going to impact them the most. Everyone also keeping a watchful eye on moderate Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. Do you anticipate these two holding the line and standing firm when it comes to negotiations? Will they pass it, even a scaled down version, do you think?
A common sense factoid. Biden's approval ratings are tanking. I just heard his press secretary in your package talk about Americans are sick and tired of gas prices. No, the American people are sick and tired of Biden in the White House. They have Biden and Democratic fatigue. If you look at Manchin's approval ratings in his home state, they're rising, Jan. They rise. The people of West Virginia elected him to be a fighter for their state, not the coward to AOC and the squad and this new socialism. The same goes for Sinema. Her approval ratings are rising. If they're rising and Biden in the White House are tanking, you don't need a scientist to figure out what the problem is. The problem is they are still out of touch in trying to pass this legislation and trying to fuel socialism that is out of touch with the American way of life and our value system. Arizona is not a far left state. West Virginia is not a far left state. Sinema knows what her constituents want. And guess what, Jan? What Sinema wants and what Manchin wants is what most Americans want, as we saw what happened to McAuliffe in the Virginia governor's race and the down ballots all across the country. Americans don't want you to go too far to the left or too far to the right, and the Democrats are just going clearly over the cliff without anybody trying to pull them back to reality.
Armstrong, since we last spoke, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki did confirm President Biden's intent to run again for president in 2024. But what other options do Democrats even have at this point? And who do you see on the GOP side?
I would say this, and I have been involved in calling elections for a long time. The very people that you talk about that you think is going to win, I can remember the names. Clinton and all these names, they never win. The person that will probably win, you probably haven't even heard their name or heard much about right now. But I will tell you this, I do not think Biden will run again. He made that much clear during the campaign. Despite what Psaki is saying now, of course, Kamala Harris wants to run, but she is wildly unpopular. It is possible Transportation Secretary Peter Buttigieg might try to run, as well as Michelle Obama or Cory Booker. It is an open field if Biden decides not to run. I just think the American people have come to the conclusion that he's too feeble, he looks too old, and they're not willing to give him another 4 years. And the Democratic Party realized that. And unlike with previous vice presidents, Ms. Harris is not a shoo-in to succeed him for the nomination. In fact, you will see one of the most toughest and most difficult fights for the Democrats in terms of people who are vying for that ticket, because they don't think Kamala will win. And they're the reasons why she probably can't win, because they've crippled her and paralyzed her within the Democratic plantation in that White House.
All right, Armstrong, we appreciate you joining us here on this Monday. Have a good one.
Thank you.